Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I've got some square tips and I've also decided to pick out actual wearable sizes and we're going to make a Powerpuff girl nail design today. So we are going to do a blue themed one. So we've got Lagoon and Baby Blue. So you want two different shades of blue for our nail design. I do also have this white shade from Madame Glam and it's one of their newer gels. It's called Blessing and it came out in the March collection. And also I've got this shade, which is going to be our nude base, and I absolutely love this shade. It is one of their limited edition actually gel polishes, so it's been a little while since they've come out with it, and I don't think it's on their website anymore, but if you are interested, do give them a look. I haven't looked myself, so it could still be on there, but it's been a couple of months now since they've come out with it, and I absolutely love it. So when I do run out one day, I'll be very sad, because as you can see, I already have to place my bottle on the side to grab the last little bits out of there. So me finishing this bottle is definitely around the corner, but I've been considering mixing gel polishes together to create my kind of perfect nude. So who knows, maybe once I finish the bottle we can play back with some colors and mix in some of our own colors and create the perfect nude together. But until then, we'll just crack on with our nail design today. So we've got two nails that are going to be the nude shade, and that's the thumb and the pinky. We've got the ring finger in the shade white. We've got the middle finger in the baby blue shade, and then the index finger. The pointer finger is going to have an ombre, so I've decided to place the darker shade at the top and then the lighter shade at the bottom. And then using an ombre brush, mine happens to be from Madame Glam as well, I'm just going to go back and forth, side to side until I am happy with the blend. And I'll do this about 2 to 3 times. So once I'm happy with this blend, it doesn't have to be perfect at this stage, pop it into the lamp. Then you want to repeat the same process 2 or 3 more times, depending, basically as often as you need to achieve the ombre that you want. So I think I've only done 2 layers today. So now it's time for our stamping. So I won't be hand painting the actual Powerpuff girl, although we are going to use this design here, the heart nail, as a little stencil, and we're actually going to go over it. So I'll show you guys that in the later part of the video, because as you can see, it doesn't cover the full nail, so I had to improvise and connect it all by myself. So you see me doing that later on in the video. And one other nail that we've got some stamping on is going to be this little cutie. I don't actually watch it. I already know I've done a video and I don't watch them, but so I won't be able to kind of like name the characters, but I researched enough to know that I think this one is blonde, this little girl. So I'm going to do some yellow hair there, and most of my nail polish, the stamping polishes specifically, are from Moe London, and we used I think 1 or 2 from Clear Jelly Stamper. So the black that I'm using today is from Clear Jelly Stamper, the yellow is from Moe London, and I think we might use like a dark shade of blue when we're colouring in the image here in just a second, and that's also Clear Jelly Stamper. Everything else is Moe London. So this method of stamping is called reverse stamping. So it's where you pick up a stencil off your plates, such as our little character today, and you colour it in on your stamper. So that's what we're doing here. You need to be a little bit careful with it, but I think it's so fun and it's so calming and relaxing to do. So I really enjoy doing those kind of designs. I feel like I need to do more of them actually. I still don't feel like I do enough, especially with the amount of plates that I've got in my collection. I don't think the amount of designs that I create with them is enough, so maybe I should get going with that. But here's that darker blue actually that I was mentioning from Clear Jelly Stamper. So that will go on the little bubble that she's blowing and also on her top. Then you want to, I think I then work on her skin colour, so I've just picked up a nude from Moe London as well, and I use that as the skin colour for her. And also I think lastly it's just some white stamping polish to go over the eyes, and that'll be that. So I think the white is actually going to be, it's not Clear Jelly, it's not Moe London, I think it's Born Pretty, the white. I quite often would advise using Born Pretty stamping polishes just because they're super affordable and you get a very nice fair chunk in there, especially if you're a beginner, because that way you don't feel like you're wasting too much of the polish. And then if you get better and more comfortable with stamping, then you can always invest in better polishes. But I absolutely always will stand by Born Pretty stamping polishes. They're amazing, even though they're super affordable, and it might make you feel like you're not getting such a great product, but it really, really is. So definitely check them out if you're interested in stamping or getting into stamping. I have a lot of videos on my channel where I stamp and incorporate it into small designs, large designs, and all of that kind of stuff. So definitely check my channel out. My thumbnails hopefully will show enough to know whether something is stamped or not. So here is our girl all nice and done. The gel polishes leave a tacky layer, so we won't have to worry about her drying out. We can just go ahead and stamp her straight down. So here she is. She didn't come out too perfect. The right hand side of her face is a bit wonky. I don't know what happened there. I've already done the other hand off camera, so that hand came out really, really well, like perfect. So I'm not too sure what I did wrong there, but that's okay. So we've stamped on that middle nail, and I've stamped her really low down. So I just wanted to stamp her so that like her body's sticking out, you know, where she kind of cuts off is where I want to place on the nail. And then because there was some space at the top, you could either place some crystals on there, maybe some glitter would have been kind of cool as well. But on this stamping plate, they had these little hearts on the left hand side, and I really liked them, so I thought I would double stamp them and I'll pop it on top of her, so it's almost like she's blowing a bubble, but also got some little hearts floating from her head. I'm a massive heart lover. I love the shape of hearts. I love, love, love hearts, and love, and just Valentine's and everything. So I kind of wanted to customize it a little bit more to me in this design. So we're just going to pick it up again. So I'm doing it twice because then it kind of left the right hand side a bit bare, so I thought I would just double stamp it next to each other and just cover it up and make it a little bit more symmetrical then. So here it is. That's our nail done. All nice and done, and that's the end of stamping for today's video. So now on the thumb and the pinky, those two nails are going to be identical, and you want to do half of a French tip. So you can pick whether you want it on the right hand side or left hand side, but here I went for the left hand side. So you have to envision doing a French tip, only draw out half. If you're worried or don't know how to do it, you can always do the full French tip and then just use a wipe to wipe away half of it. That could be a nice little way to do it too if you're a bit worried about not getting it super straight, or you know, as good as you might do it if you were to just do a full French tip. And you want to just do the half. So I've done the left, and I'll do the exact same thing on the pinky too. Almost felt like the pinky was harder to do because there was less space, so I had to do like the curvage of the French tip much quicker than I did on the thumb. And then we'll pop it into the lamp. I actually would usually obviously do 2 layers of everything, but this blue was so opaque that I just didn't feel the need to do a second layer. So I actually just got to cure this, and then we can crack on with the next steps on these nails. So the next step is going to be using that lighter shade of blue, the baby blue, and we're going to use it to cover up the right hand side of those 2 nails now. So rather than finishing it off with a French tip, although if you wanted to do like an ombre French tip, that would look super cool as well, but instead I'm using the light blue, and I'm going to do some squiggly lines, almost kind of mimicking the French tip, but not really. Almost maybe, if you envision it, maybe like a cloud. That's what we're doing. So here is the outline of my first one on the thumb. And then using the nail art brush, I'm just going to colour it in and then pop into the lamp. And with this light blue, I do go ahead and do 2 layers. Even though it was still opaque as well, it just felt right because it is a lighter shade and we have a pretty darker shade underneath, especially covering up a little bit of that darker blue as well. Just for peace of mind, I did do 2 coats, but gel polishes from Madame Glam are super opaque, as you can see here. That literally covered up that darker blue underneath with no problems at all. So here's me doing it again on the pinky. Again, it just felt harder to do because there's less space to do it on, especially since I always work on long stiletto nails on my channel, as you'll probably know if you're a regular. So working on these tiny little nails was a bit of a challenge, definitely has been, but I've actually been really enjoying these kind of videos recently. It just kind of changes things up a little bit for me, and I can actually work on little nails that are wearable rather than the super long stilettos. And every time I do those kind of videos, they're all the same size as well, so not actually wearable or anything, it's just to show you guys designs. But yeah, okay, so those 2 nails have gone into the lamp. Now I am working on the heart nails, so I'm basically using what we've stamped down as a stencil, and I'm just going to go over it. So on this stage, you really need to have some steady hands, and I don't actually, but I managed to do it. So hopefully that's a little tip, well, not tip, but hopefully that if I can do it, hopefully you can too. I'm usually known for my super shaky hands, so the fact that I was able to keep it pretty straight was actually quite impressive. So we have to basically continue the design down the nail and above the nail too, because as you can see, it kind of cuts off on both sides, so you need to continue it. But also you want to go over them, just because our blue doesn't match up the same shade as the stamping polish. If you do have a gel polish that matches up perfectly with the stamping polish, then you won't need to go over it with the gel polish at all. But because mine was ever so slightly more cooler, and the stamping polish was a bit more like mintier, had a bit more like a minty undertone shades, then I had to basically go over it. So I only show you guys me doing the bottom part and then the top part too. So I cured in between when doing these layers, and then as a finale I did the center, which was the hardest because there's super thin lines, and then I popped it into the lamp. So I don't show you guys the middle part just because it was quite hard and I had to have it like right up my face trying to see what I'm doing, because it was just a little bit difficult. And then we've got our nail done. So as you can see with stamping as well, you just have to utilize what you've got around you. And even though I'm actually working on wearable small nails, still stamping plates sometimes, just the images that they offer on their plates just sometimes don't cover a full nail, which is so frustrating. But unfortunately it is what it is, and we just have to work with it. So it was a shame. I was considering using a different image instead to help just cover the full nail and not have to worry about it, but I just really like the way the hearts looked. I did try and do a different image and it just didn't hit the same way, so I had to go back and just switch it up. Now back onto the thumb and the pinky. We are going to use some of that white gel polish that I showed you guys earlier in the video, and we are going to use it as an outline for the blue. So you just want to go over the squiggly lines that you created on the light blue shade, and then pop it into the lamp. And of course, again, I'll go with another layer because especially this white was a little bit sheer. And then just to, you know, make it look a little bit more opaque and stuff like that. Here it is all done. And now it's time to do some stars and dots. So each nail is going to get one star in the same place. So grab yourself a dotting tool, do a dot, drag out 4 lines. So there's your little star. And then the smallest dotting tool you possibly have, pop it into the same gel polish and just scatter a couple of dots around the star, kind of following that French tip line, going upwards up the nail, only on the left hand side and only on the nude part. Don't put on any of the blue bits and bobs. And then once you're happy, pop that into the lamp, and the same thing again, we're going to do the exact same thing on that pinky as well. But again, because it's a smaller nail, everything has to be much smaller, and yeah, just much smaller and kind of not as compact to get, if you know what I mean. So here's my tiny little star. Luckily my brush was actually pointed in the right way, so I can actually drag out really thin lines with that, so that was really good. And again with the same dotting tool, I feel like my dotting tool was still too big, which is funny. If you've got like a toothpick, maybe that would look pretty good actually. I think would work maybe much better than my dotting tool. I just had to be very gentle with it and not press too hard to get like a really fine little dot. So now that that's done, our very last thing to do now is going to be some crystals. So I already picked out my crystals, they're ready to go. I've came very prepared for today's video. So I've got 2 shaped AB crystals. One is this very long elongated kind of line one. Then we've got like a teardroplet looking one at the top. And then we're going to pop 2 small AB crystals on either side, and then 1 right at the bottom. And then to finish off the crystal design, I'm going to pop a couple of the caviar beads in between the crystals, and that'll be that nail done. And then all we have to do then is just going to be top coat these beauties, and then I'll show you guys the final results with it on my hand, which I'm so excited to show you guys. I love pink and blue. I don't know about you guys, but I just constantly switch around. So right now in my blue phase, I'm really enjoying these nails, and especially when I popped them onto my hand, I was so happy with them. I love them so much. I'm not too sure about the shape of them though, so let me know guys. I don't really do any squared shaped nails or ever really wear square, so I wasn't too sure if this shaped square nail is the right shape, or are they not that great? Let me know guys, because I'm not too sure. I just don't really do square often, because when you work on them they look great, but when I popped them on I wasn't too sure at first. But that just honestly just could be because I never wear them. Well, squares. So now it's time to top coat. So I'm using a matte top coat. I love matte top coating stamped nails, so I obviously had to incorporate the matte top coat today since we've got basically, well, 2 stamped nails. But of course glossy would look really nice too. I love glossy on actual wearable nails, and I prefer matte when it comes to like actual nail art, like showcase nail art. So yeah, I am using a what is it, a Macut matte top coat, although it's not the best, so I would advise a Madame Glam or a Nail Nails if you're in the market for a really good matte top coat. But this one does the job. I got it off of Amazon at the time. I was running low on my others, so I had to SOS get some new ones. This does the job, but not the best, so bear that in mind in case you end up buying it and go, why did I buy it? It's not the best. Yeah, it's not, but it does the job. But here are the final results. I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll love to see you all in my next video. Bye, guys.